What's going on, paranormal world? For years and years, the paranormal community has seen its share of popular ghost shows, and two of the best shows, give or take, were Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. And before we proceed with this discussion, if you're new to this channel and you love the paranormal and you love paranormal discussions, then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you can see every time I upload. Okay, so Ghost Hunters versus Ghost Adventures. I know for me, Ghost Hunters was a show I found first. I casually watched it every time it was on TV. I flick through the channel and see it on Sci-Fi, and I'll check it out. But I really wasn't interested in it. Honestly, I really didn't gravitate towards the Ghost Hunters crew personalities. I mean, Ghost Hunters was a cool show, but just the people surrounding it. I mean, everyone just seemed like none interested, and I don't know, it felt disrespectful to the paranormal community how they were treating the show. Like a 9-to-5 job, like it wasn't their passion. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Leave a like if you agree with me. And I understand that the whole entire Ghost Hunter show is based on skepticism, but at the same time, everything can't be explained or debunked like they were trying to do. Anyway, once I found Ghost Adventures, it was like a breath of fresh air. And let's first talk about the pros and cons of each show. First, Ghost Hunters, the main thing I personally feel like was a positive was how they always traveled. Now, they traveled abroad a whole bunch. They even created their own show called Ghost Hunters International. And it's always fun exploring cultures and places that we're not familiar with. And another thing I like about Ghost Hunters, well, to an extent, is how they always debunk almost everything. And I know I'm contradicting myself, but in some cases I can agree with what they did. But like I said, everything can't be debunked. The paranormal is definitely real, and they can't ignore that all the time. As far as the negatives, I have a few. But the first being that it was way too many crew members on this show. I just felt like it could be overwhelming at times, especially for someone like me who casually watched the show. I couldn't even remember half of the crew's name. But like, another thing about having a lot of crew members, especially when you're investigating, it can hurt the investigation and evidence. And my second complaint about this show, and I mentioned this earlier, is the lack of enthusiasm. Everyone was just plain Jane, which made the show kind of uninteresting. I mean, they almost had no connection or sympathy towards the haunted locations or the history portion of the show. I mean, I don't know, I just didn't like that, and it kind of bothers me. Which leads me to my last point. The crew seemed a little bit cocky, like they knew everything, and it was either their way or the highway, and I definitely didn't like that. So that's my thoughts about Ghost Hunters. But transitioning into Ghost Adventures, I could say a lot. The Ghost Adventures crew felt like a family, especially the original three, Zach, Nick, and Aaron. The chemistry was always there, and they really showed compassion towards people in the interviews, and they also respected the history at the locations. They took a lot of pride into it. I also enjoyed how vulnerable the crew made themselves. It almost felt like we were experiencing everything they were going through while watching the show. And unlike Ghost Hunters, I feel like Ghost Adventures relied on emotions rather than technology in the first couple of seasons. And we all know that Ghost Hunters was definitely based on technology. Furthermore, from a production standpoint, Ghost Adventures was leagues above Ghost Hunters, especially when it comes to reenactments, intros, and interviews. Especially that intro, "We want answers." With all that good stuff being said, there are still a few things that I really didn't like about Ghost Adventures. For one, was they really didn't travel abroad as much as I would like, especially in the first couple of seasons. They did go abroad, but I just wish they would dedicate one full season to going overseas. I also feel like over time, the show became the Zach Bagans show, and the focal point of the show was just Zach Bagans. And also, as the seasons went on, the comedic dialogue became a little bit annoying. But overall, both of these shows revolutionized television. They had their ups and their downs, and it's almost like the late 90s WCW versus WWF. Wrestling fans will get that reference. But both shows are still on the air. But Ghost Adventures been here year after year after year, whereas Ghost Hunters came back and rebooted. And it's not the same Ghost Hunters, but it's switched up a little bit. But ultimately, Ghost Adventures won this war, despite what people say. And I really think that all the Ghost Hunters fans gravitated towards Ghost Adventures because it was really exciting, it was something different, and the crew members showed passion. And that's what the paranormal is all about. And at the end of the day, Ghost Adventures made the biggest impact on the paranormal community. So guys, what do you all think about Ghost Hunters versus Ghost Adventures? Whose side are you on? How do you feel about each show and the competition they had against each other? So, if you like this discussion, I have plenty more on my channel like this. I have horror movie discussions, paranormal discussions, ghost adventure discussions. So if you like that type of stuff, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button. And if you like this video, leave a thumbs up. As always, be safe. Peace.